Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
Hey, I like your new RAV4.
Thanks, yours too.
What does RAV stand for anyway?
To me, it's the Remarkably Advanced Vehicle.
Really? To me, it's the Runway Approved Vehicle for its amazing style.
What about Remarkably Adaptable Vehicle because of its versatile cargo space?
Or Really Admired Vehicle?
Oh, or Really Awesome Vehicle.
It really is the recreational activity vehicle. The stylish 2026 Toyota RAV4 Limited. What's your RAV4?
All right, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast. Kevin and Chuck. Today, we're going to talk booby traps, man-trapping, or maybe think Rambo First Blood.
Right.
You know, guy out in the woods, has a big knife, serrated back. I learned this week those are called zombie knives in England.
Okay.
So if you're of the British orientation, that's, you know.
Well, you've seen Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead.
I mean, it can happen there. It can happen anywhere.
Can happen anywhere. So basically, I know we did way back, and most of you don't remember, but way back before the hills got dusty, we used to do an episode on securing your perimeter. And it was kind of like your whole house and everything around. We touched on some traps, but for the most part, it was more fortification and that kind of stuff.
And most of the traps we were talking about alarm systems. And
Today
things like
we're
that.
going straight on, you know, punji sticks.
Punji sticks.
I mean, that's like where we're going to open it right there. You know, once you learn about the poo sticks and whatever there, we're going to get into that in a second. But basically, you know, I'm at home. I'm watching Rambo First Blood. I'm like, yes, that's something I can get into. He's back in the woods. He's cutting up tarps and little sticks and squealing pigs and the whole thing. I don't know if there were squealing pigs, but it seems like there was a lot of good things happening.
Yeah, now I got primed for this. I watched Goonies.
Goonies. That is the official trapper death booby trap
Right.
movie.
He had the sneakers that had the oil slick that shot out the back. He had the teeth that on the spring that came shooting out.
You know, now who would have thought, though, like, if you're a kid and you're rigging up all these traps, who would have thought they would actually come into play?
Right.
That's some foresight right there.
I think, probably half of these, minus anything involving firearms. I did about half of these in the woods behind my house growing up.
You had oil slicks in your sneakers?
No oil slicks.
I
did do the tiger pits, though. And luckily nobody actually fell in there because they might have died.
All right, now tell me about these punji sticks.
All right, well, punji stick is basically, it's any sharpened stick. They'd sharpen it, they heat up the end to make it hard, the tip there. It got the name in when the British were in Burma. Because you could just have women and kids making these sticks all day long.
Miramar, Burma.
You could, you know, and so they're just sticks. Easy to make. You can make thousands of them. Stick them up anywhere. Some people would just stick them up as deterrents that you don't walk that way, you know, as a barricade type thing. But they're used in a lot of different traps. Simple traps that you can make with a knife in the woods and some rope. But they were banned. They've been banned in the convention on certain conventional weapons. Now, that includes landmines, booby traps, which it specifically says booby traps, blinding laser weapons. This is basically any kind of death ray.
Death ray.
They're banned. And then fragments. It also bans fragments that can't be detected with an X-ray. So you can't have, like, plastic BBs that'll penetrate the body. They have to be metal.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and obviously, we're all going to follow these rules in the apocalypse.
Right. It's 1980. I feel like it's a little dated. 39 years old. You can't count on that shit anymore.
No. So, first off, I have to point out, everything we tell you is not something you can do in your day-to-day and not expect consequences from your local law enforcement.
Right. And most of these traps can be set off by anybody. It might not necessarily be an intruder. I found a lot of the spring guns. I found a lot of stories about people getting shot that weren't supposed to be the ones getting shot.
All right. And the lost kid in the woods or your neighbor's dog.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out.
There was a parson that got his leg blown off by a shotgun trap that I read about in the 1800s. He was just coming to pay a friendly visit. And got his leg blown off.
Hey, neighbor. No?
And that was it.
That was it. Good times. All right. So let's get down to the meat. So if we made a bunch of these punji sticks, now what would we do to make them extra effective?
Poison.
Poison.
They would put a lot of, especially in Vietnam, they would put poison on the punji sticks. Now
the Chinese have another method.
Yes. The feces. The human feces.
They like to use the fecal matter.
Right. And that's going to give you sepsis in your blood and you're going to die. Unless you get, serious medical treatment.
All right.
Now,
how would we apply these?
Well, there's a lot of ways. The most basic way.
All right. I'm excited.
Is the tiger pit.
All right.
The tiger pit. Basically, it's a pit. You're going to have the punji sticks coming up out of the bottom of the pit. Then you're going to have punji sticks facing around the outside, facing in a downward angle. So when the person tries to pull their leg back out, they get jammed up in there. And you're going to have to dig out the entire pit to free this person out of it.
To
pull all those spikes.
Cutting all the skin off.
Right. So it's a time consumption thing.
And while your once somebody's there and everybody's going to help them, that's when the sniper action comes into play.
That's right. Now there's also there's quite a few that you could do here. I like the spike board trap, which was new to me. I'd never seen this before. Basically, you're going to dig a pit, and you're going to have a seesaw inside this pit. So when you step on it, the board goes down, your foot goes down, you fall forward, and the seesaw, the other end comes up, and it's a board with punji sticks on it. So you face plant into the board. And,
you always see they get you in the eye every time.
Every time.
Doesn't matter if you're 6 foot or 4 foot.
Mm-hmm.
They got the eye worked out.
Right. It's always going to happen. I don't know how it works.
Now, my favorite trap utilizing the punji stick would be the Chinese chopper.
The Chinese chopper.
Now, you're like, well, I never heard of the Chinese chopper. Well, you are in for a treat, my friend.
Get to the chopper.
The Chinese chopper, imagine a large log, perhaps 8 inches, 12 inches in diameter. Filled with punji sticks from one end to the other.
Right. The longer the log, the bigger sweep it has, right?
Well, no, this is going to drop straight down.
Oh, okay.
On the passerby.
All
right. So what they do is, we'll say 6 foot log, 12 inches in diameter. Imagine screwing an eyelet into the top on the opposite side of the spikes. You could obviously just wrap the twine, around the right way and to secure it, but whatever. So then up over a tree branch and then down to a tripwire trigger. And we'll talk about those triggers in a minute.
Yeah. Now, the key to a lot of these traps is the trigger system. Now, there's a lot of interesting, complicated ways to do that. We'll get into some of those.
There's a lot of things you can do. So basically, they come along, hit the tripwire, and then the log with all the spikes drops down. And yes, you could angle it so that the pivot point is at one point, and then the log is, tied a little further out,
Right.
So that way
So
it
it has a
swings
swing.
back and kind of gets him in the gut.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, then the eyelet would be on the top, and you would then put the spikes at the 90-degree mark,
Right.
facing as they're coming through. You guys can use your imagination on that one.
Face front towards enemy.
So that is, that's a fun trick right there.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have next?
Well, I was looking through some of the older stuff, and I found this cemetery gun. Now, this was to ward off grave robbers originally. Basically, it was set up, loaded and cocked gun was set up inside a box that was on a swivel. And you would have multiple tripwires so that the tripwire would swivel the gun in your direction, wherever you tripped it before it fired. So you could have one gun that could cover basically 180 degrees and point right towards you. Now they also set up same time they set up coffin guns, which is basically a shotgun that would be aimed towards the face of the person trying to pry the coffin open. So they'd pop the lid open and the shotgun would go off.
And then they fall in.
And then then you could just fill dirt right in. You're done. Problem solved.
Reload the shotgun and
Right.
you're ready for the next guy.
Uh-huh.
No, not bad. Now, I did come across one intriguing one that was kind of similar to the punji stick method here.
Mm-hmm.
This is called the Javaro catapult.
Okay. I haven't heard of this one.
It's new. I've never seen it. Now, apparently it originated in 1957 with the Javaro Indians killed 5 men who were close friends and, going through the Amazon basin.
All right.
So basically, it's pretty slick. Now, what they did, imagine if you took a rope and you just twisted it super tight. Well, all right, take it like this. You have 2 ropes. You tie one at the bottom. You tie a knot at the bottom and you secure it to the ground.
Uh-huh.
And then one at the top on, like a tree branch.
Right.
Now, you put a paddle in it. Now, the paddle is about 10 centimeters wide and maybe 3 feet long.
Okay.
So, obviously, you're going to put this about 3 feet out from the tree. 3 foot, 2 inches, something
Right.
like that, right? They filled it with the spikes.
The punji sticks.
Right? They stuck it in the middle of the 2 ropes, just at the end, though, so it sticks out long like a paddle. Like you only have maybe 3 inches on the one side and then the full length on the other.
Right.
Then they just twisted and twisted until this thing is wound up.
All right.
And then they, did a tripwire trigger,
Mm-hmm.
which, again, we're going to talk about the triggers in a minute. But tripwire trigger, and it basically just swings around and whacks you and drives those spikes right home. That's fun. I've never considered that.
Uh-huh.
They said
It seems
it
like
does
pretty
require
basic.
a lot of foliage because it's 3 foot. It's a little
Right.
big. You got a big rope top to bottom.
Mm-hmm. You're going to want to find a tree with a bush right next to it or
Kind
something,
of,
right?
dense forest area. But I got to say, 2 ropes and a stick
Mm-hmm.
or a couple of sticks to work out the trigger.
Right.
Not bad.
Simple. Mm-hmm.
All right. What do you got next?
Well, I wanted to talk real quick about spring guns.
Okay.
Now, spring guns can be any kind of firearm. It can even be a round with a piece of pipe in it, or a piece of pipe with a round in it. And generally, you want to use shotgun shells for it. All you really need is a firing pin and a piece of pipe. You don't want to leave your nice shotgun, your granddad's shotgun out there in the fucking woods to just sit there for months and months without ever going off and just rusting to shit.
Oh, so you're saying homemade shotgun.
Yeah, I'm talking about homemade, any kind of gun.
All right.
But you want to be careful where you're aiming this. You want to aim it in a place where you're sure to get a direct hit. And if somebody's walking, probably knee level is the best place to set it off. You're not going to kill somebody, but if you take out somebody's knee, they're not going to be much of a threat after that. Now, the problem with almost all of these traps is you have to go right through the trap. So you have to be very conscientious of where you set these traps up. Camouflage is the number one priority when you're planning these traps. You can spot a trap a mile away. Most of these traps you can spot a mile away if they're not covered up.
Yeah.
It's rare that you're going to set off a tripwire. When you're walking through the woods, you're watching your feet. You know what I mean? You're watching where you're stepping.
Well,
so you have to be creative when you're looking at the tripwires. I know you can
buy a lot of aftermarket Vietnam snare wire. Mm-hmm. And it does come in green and, the colors that...
The thinner, the better. Paracord is not thin
a lot
enough.
of times you can get away with heavy fishing line.
Right. Piano wire type stuff. Also pretty good thing.
Maybe you got some guitar strings laying around.
There you go. Nice.
Maybe not long enough, but they're usually very thin. Mm-hmm. And maybe you take some of that extra spray camo color spray paint. Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Right.
While you have your fishing line out, before I forget, there is nothing wrong with hanging a couple of fish hooks at eye level on the trail.
That sounds awful. It doesn't sound like it would work, but it also sounds like if it did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to bend the hooks a little bit so they're kind of pointing one direction.
You go running through the trail and you're like, don't.
Now, am I wrong in remembering that you got hooked on a fish hook at one point? Was that you?
Right. I don't know.
Or was that somebody else?
Childhood. You had a lot of strange friends, though, so I don't know.
Yeah, it might have been somebody else. All right.
Now, I do have one called the Andes Mountain Trail Trap.
Oh, yes. I've heard about this.
All right. Now, this is when, they say the Andes. So you have like a cliff ledge, right, that kind of thing. Uh-huh. And people are walking along a narrow trail, maybe chasing after you. Now, this is something that maybe you have like a 3-foot ledge, something like that.
But you need a steep ledge.
Right, because there's got to be consequences to falling.
Right.
Right, so you're looking for, a ledge where things end badly. Now, what they do is they set it up as a basic figure 4 trigger. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys remember, but back when we had a sponsor called Battle Box, they actually gave us a figure 4 trigger. Came in the package, and something you might want to, hey, useful item right here.
Right.
So basically, a figure 4 trigger is, if you think of like a triangle square, basically you have a trip stick. I don't know, it's tough to describe. Basically, a post sticking straight up and down.
Right.
A post that goes straight at maybe 3 inches off the ground, if you imagine it. Mm-hmm. Goes through the up and down post.
Right,
and then
it's notched in there.
The pivot point on another... on
an angle.
On a diagonal piece.
Right, goes from the end of the horizontal piece to the top of the perpendicular piece.
If you think about it, the load sits at the top of the triangle. Mm-hmm. Now, what I'm going to do... Well, the load sits at the top of the triangle... And then when they step on the trip stick, which is the long straight one on the bottom, it pulls out the notch and basically allows the load to dump over. Like that triangle pivots up, the back lifts up, and everything dumps forward. What I am going to do, because I know some of these are weird to, envision in your head, I'm going to take a picture of all these traps, and I'm going to post each one as a picture in the Prepping Badass group.
Right, so if you go to the Facebook page, you'll be able to see some of these traps.
Well, the group page.
The group page, right.
So you got to get in the group if you want to see these, and you'll be able to see all the different things we're talking about firsthand.
And now a lot of these traps they're a lot easier to figure out when you can see it visually.
Definitely. But I don't know, a lot of it is pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically when it comes to setting any of these traps, remember to rub poop on everything.
Pretty much fecal matter is the key. Except when I'm coming through the woods and I smell human poo.
You know it's human poo, too, right?
Like,
you can just tell from the
wait
smell.
a minute.
That's not dog poo. But basically what this will do is it'll dump the platform. So you'll be walking on the trail, and there'll be a hidden platform, and when you step on it, it's basically just going to trip itself over and dump you off the side of the ledge.
Right. Now, the first thing when we tell you guys booby traps and Rambo First Blood, you're probably thinking traditional jungle snare.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's where you have the big circle on the ground.
Right.
And the guy hits the tripwire or the little pressure pad. And then, doink, his feet get, brought up. I think it had the rock in it. It was the rundown.
Okay.
All right. And that basically, he gets snatched up and he's swinging by his feet. And then everybody comes out and kicks his ass, Mm-hmm. And that's the best way. If you're going to take on the rock is to have him upside down and hanging from a rope on his feet,
Right. Also, Return of the Jedi, the Ewoks got Chewbacca and Han Solo in that one.
Excellent. Yes, I do recall that. So that's going way back.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably where, the rock, when he was like, what do we do in the movie? He's like, wait, I was watching Star Wars.
Right.
And
there
then,
you go.
Yeah, that makes sense. So thing is with that, now that's a regular... pagan nail trigger, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, if you just took 2 pieces of wood and you cut a little notch in each one,
mm-hmm.
and then you have you basically have a load, basically a bunch of logs or a bag full of rocks, whatever,
mm-hmm.
and you tie a rope, you throw it over the tree, you come down, you have a little stick with a notch cut in it, and then there's a stick that's stuck in the ground with a notch cut in it.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe even you have it notched right to the side of the tree. And basically, when they hit a tripwire, it just pulls that little stick and pulls the notch out.
Out from the side and releasing the
Then the
spring.
load, which is pulling the heavy, whatever, the rope that has the loop, and it yanks them right up off the ground. Now, the problem with these is, in order to be effective, you need 3 times the weight of whatever you're trying to catch on the other side. 3 times.
Right. That's a lot of weight.
That's a lot of weight. So, if you want to catch a 200-pound man, you're talking about 600 pounds on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
That means your 550 paracord,
not
probably
gonna do
not
it.
even going to cut it.
Yeah.
So you got to get serious with something like that. But that is fun.
That is fun. It
There's
also
nothing
seems
better
like
than when you
would
come
break
out
your leg
and you find the guy just like swinging
hanging from his broken leg.
Yeah.
Slowly
that's
dying.
Fun.
Yeah.
That's fun right there. So I'm just saying that might be something you're into. That's the traditional jungle snare.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, that's a method used for the same sort of tripwire would be used for the feather spear trap. Now, that's basically a spear trap that instead of pulling up a snare, it has a spring-loaded branch, like a branch that's bent back, stuck between a fork of a tree and bent back with a spike on it.
Now,
that you would set that off and it would release the snare to the branch and it swings out with a spike on it.
I was thinking about that and I was like, the branch, it's going to be good for a day, 2 days.
Yeah, maybe a week. Maybe even a week.
But then, it's going to kind of take its shape and it's definitely going to lose its power.
Mm-hmm.
Even in 24 hours, it's going
Right.
to lose a significant amount of power.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, where could I get some big, decent springs that I could use after the shit hits the fan? And I'm thinking garage door springs are huge. Mm-hmm. If you break open most of these washing machines, there's some pretty substantial springs in there.
Mm-hmm.
If you double them up, your dishwasher door has some great springs in there that you could use.
Yeah.
You'd have to double those up. But
also, some older cars have shocks that would be good for the same sort of thing.
That's pretty substantial, though.
Mm-hmm.
Those are big shocks that take a lot.
Right. But I mean, it's worth keeping your eye out for things that would be good.
Yes.
For these types
and that's
of traps.
the thing. Like everybody has in their mind, oh, I have a knife, and what kind of traps can I make? But there's nothing wrong with utilizing, the resources that are available to you. And some heavy-duty springs could make for some really cool
Right.
spear traps and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of fun options.
Right. Another great thing to have handy are vice grips. You know the type I'm talking about. They've got the two handles and they lock into place. And then they've got the little lever on the inside of the handle that when you push on that little lever, it releases. So you can lock things into place with that and have your tripwire attached directly to that little lever on the inside, releasing the vice grips. Now, they can hold a lot of weight, and with a little bit of weight, you can release that spring vice grips. Now, I see a lot that used a lot in explosives, tripwires with explosives and things like that.
Yes.
But you can use those for just about any type of trap. I mean, I would recommend having, 5 or 10 of those on hand. I think I've got maybe 3 or 4. Maybe I need to stock up on those, a couple of those things. But they're handy to have. I mean, they make great triggers for this sort of thing. And these are traps you need to practice. This is stuff you need to set up in the woods behind your house or in your backyard. And set them up
Fun
without
project with your kids. Don't use
the poo on the punji sticks. Just go poo free first on your first run. And then,
but what if you're out there and you got to poo anyway? No,
what are
is
you
that
gonna
wrong?
do? What are you gonna do?
I know if you go on eBay and search perimeter alarms, they have the one I was looking at was a set of 20. Perimeter alarms, which were basically, they're like the, they say do-it-yourself alarms, and they sell it, they advertise it for like paintball, that kind of thing.
Right, and you can set them up to air horns and all sorts of stuff, but you can use those trigger mechanisms.
Basically, it's like the top of a hand grenade, with a pin.
Right.
So the way they work out, you drill them. And because there's a little plug in it that has the detonator for a hand grenade, and you drill them out, and believe it or not, it has like a little spring.
Right.
When you pull the pin, it snaps the spring, and it ends up being the perfect size for the shotgun primers.
Nice. Okay.
And it's actually very loud, pretty much like a shotgun blast.
Right.
And those are great for perimeter alarms to alert people, but really nice. And that trigger, like you said, you could then set it up for any kind of incendiary device.
Right. Anything
whatever.
you want to do. Now, what I would also recommend having on hand is the eye hooks. You can get them at Lowe's, Home Depot.
Now, you're not talking about fish hooks for
Not
the
fish
eyeballs.
hooks for the eyeballs, no.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about it's basically a bolt with a loop, a steel circle on it. Now, you can use that to redirect your tripwire to any direction you want to move it without having to go through any crazy nonsense.
Now, that's the thing. You
just
can
screw
run
it into
all
a
around
tree.
your perimeter.
Right.
And I got to
one
say,
wire,
if you're dragging through those little eyelets that Kevin's talking about, it's going to have a lot less friction as it goes around a lot of trees.
Right.
If you're trying to just drag it along trees all the way, it might just break.
Not going to do it. Yeah, exactly.
When somebody kicks it, it'll just break the line and not necessarily pull it, because the resistance will end up happening before you get to your intended alert system, weapon,
trigger,
whatever.
Yeah.
So something to consider. I mean, realistically, having a bunch of cans and a tripwire to alert you, that's worth something.
It's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing.
But punji sticks.
Or a shotgun blast to the forehead. That's even better. Just saying.
Now, I would say the most easy and effective way to do this is the tiger pit. Simple. Punji sticks in the bottom. Little bit of poo-poo. Wicker cover top.
You say easy, but have you ever dug a big hole?
I've done a few, and it really does depend on where you're at.
Because sometimes it's easier to fill that bag full of rocks and drop it on somebody's head than to dig the hole. To each his own. What's your kind of lazy? That's what I really want to know.
Right.
Maybe we need a T-shirt that says that. What's your kind of lazy?
I like that idea.
That's clever.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like that face with the smile. I don't fucking know. The box of chocolates guy makes the face with the happy. No, no, nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
Now I was looking into some traps in the news, and I tell you what, get a meth head going on some traps. They are geniuses. They're when clever, it comes up to this stuff. Really smart guys. Now, smart and stupid.
Tell me more.
I did recently read a news article from a couple of years back that was about these meth heads that were smuggling crystal meth. And what they figured out is if they cracked their trunk open and they set a rocket out of the back of their trunk and tied all their crystal meth to it, then when they get pulled over, they could set off the rocket and it would shoot the crystal meth away and they wouldn't be able to get in trouble for it.
That's smart.
Now, of course, when a police came behind them and saw a rocket sticking out of the back of their trunk,
that was the
they pulled them over.
Oh.
And then the trap didn't go off. So, in I think it was in Iowa, real estate agent was getting ready to sell a house that had been abandoned for a couple of years.
Okay.
And they accidentally set off a trap that was, as you walk up the stairs, there's a tripwire. Mm-hmm. That was like, remember Home Alone when he was throwing the paint cans on the rope?
Yep.
Down the stairs over the balcony and smacking them in the face?
And they swung, yep.
Yeah, it was like that, except it set off a rake handle with a spade sticking out of it, like a shovel spade sticking out of it, to punch you in the face with the edge of the shovel, which it didn't actually hit the guy because crystal meth heads are notoriously bad at setting these traps up. They're really good at coming up with ideas for the traps, but when it comes to actually executing it, they never work right.
Well, that sounds right. Now, if all this seems a little beyond you, I would recommend maybe just putting a bunch of gravel rakes. Mm-hmm. Lay them about. Lay them about in the yard.
So when you step on it, it smacks you in the nose?
And you get the don't.
Yep.
That's the silent alarm right there.
Uh-huh.
That could be a way to go. Speaking of meth heads, I did see a meth head news story this week. And apparently, a guy went in to rob a bank and got arrested and caught, but his excuse is what intrigued me. Apparently, he had just paid a wizard $500 to make him invisible.
All right.
So he thought he would go in, get away no problem, because he's invisible.
Because he's invisible. You can't even see him.
But somehow his powers failed, and this man ended up appearing in front of everyone. And
it was so embarrassing because he had taken all his clothes off. Because, I mean, he would just see his clothes walking.
Right, his clothes. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if you know the wizard, you got $500, you might be able to sneak around behind the bad guys. Sometimes, like, if you could go pull the pins on all their hand grenades, something like that, then you would sneak away really quiet.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe, though, try it out first. If you pay a wizard and you're invisible, maybe just look in a mirror.
That's
maybe
one way to go.
Just take a second.
It's not invisible to you.
Oh,
You're
can see.
invisible
All
to
right.
everybody else.
Well, that makes a whole lot of sense now. Now I understand why he's confused.
Like, get around and you wouldn't know what you're doing. That would be
makes
ridiculous.
a lot more sense.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's ridiculous.
All right.
So there's that. Now, we did have a listener from our the Prepping Badass group named Phil.
Right.
Reach out to us this week. Now, Phil mentioned that he might have some insight for those of you that are, if you will, across the pond. The Brits, maybe the Australians. Those of you who maybe don't understand all the words that me and Kevin use, because we don't understand any of the words
like
you're using.
You say you keep your spare tire in your boot? That doesn't even make any sense to me. There's a windscreen? I don't know. Well, how does this screen stop wind? I
Blindly?
don't understand.
I don't even know
Yeah,
what you guys
I
are
don't
doing
know.
over there. So Phil was going to give us some insight, but after he shares the little bit of insight, we're going to come back around and give it a little recap so don't run off on us.
So you're a prepper. You think you're a badass. You can be as prepared as you want during the day, but there's going to be a point in that night time where you need to sleep. The point where you think it's safe. But you're bugged out by yourself. There's nobody that you can put on watch. You can do as much as you can do. But if you don't sleep, your critical thinking is going to go down. You're going to make bad decisions. You're going to be angry. You're going to be tired. You're going to be frustrated. Everybody needs to sleep. People can last days without sleep. But the result of that is that you end up making bad decisions. Decisions that could cause you or your family pain and hurt. So, what do you do about it? You're a prepper. You want to know this shit. I suggest you look around your house, you find yourself some fishing wire, a clothes peg, a battery and a buzzer, and make yourself a simple tripwire system that will last years upon years on a single battery. Build yourself your watchman. The watchman is simple to make. Clothes peg, fishing wire, piece of non-conductive material to act as a break between the circuit, battery and a buzzer. It's lightweight, it's portable, it should be in everybody's prep kit. Because there's going to be a time when you are physically exhausted and you need to sleep. If you've got a perimeter, a 20, 30 foot perimeter around you, that you know if anybody or anything walks through that, it's going to set it off, you're prepared. You've got those vital 5 to 10 seconds to make sure you're aware of your surroundings, you've scanned it, you've found the intruder, you're locked on, point and click. So why aren't you doing it? You're probably now thinking, damn, I've got the guns, I've got the shelter, I've got the food, I've got the water purification. But he's right. When you're asleep, you're about as tactically observant as a small child with a dummy. And that's when they're going to hit you. They're not going to come up to you armed to the tooth and nail during the daytime when you're aware of your surroundings, when you already saw them walk over the horizon 5 minutes ago. They're not going to approach you then. They're going to approach you when you're asleep. Think about that. Be prepared.
So if you guys appreciated Phil, maybe let us know in the Badass group, and maybe we'll have him back in future episodes. He's definitely entertaining, had some good insight. Now, what I am going to do is he sent me a picture of this contraption that he's got rigged up there, and I'm going to put a picture of that up in the Badass group up along with some of these man traps, and you guys will be able to know exactly what he's talking about. Now, you guys know that we have some sponsors, maybe Tac Pack. I did get an email that it's time to sign up if you want to get in on the May Tac Pack delivery. The April Tac Pack is already on its way, should be arriving at your door momentarily as you're listening to this episode. So that's kind of exciting. I'm always excited to see what kind of new awesomeness they have in store for me. They do have a promo code. It's badass.
Right.
So if you type in badass, they're going to actually hook you up with a free gun cleaning mat.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like a bonus. Just because you know us, you get a little something extra.
Little something.
Now, we've been trying to set it up so that we have like a discussion about the podcast and other insight from the listeners and things that me and Kevin might have gotten wrong. Maybe some people will point out where Kevin might have killed somebody with his poor advice.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe we just
like
got
putting
you
the
sent
poo on
to
the
jail.
punji sticks.
Maybe we just got you sent to jail. You know, I don't know. But either way, if you want to look out for the extra warnings, you may want to join the Prepping Badass group. If you just search in Facebook, Prepping Badass, find the group, and try and subscribe there.
Now, if you're a lawyer and you look up Catco versus Briney,
okay,
you will see all kinds of reasons why you'll go to jail for using any one of these traps.
It's a no-go?
It's as far as the United States goes, pretty much everything we talked about is illegal. So you're
basically doing your legal research by listening to this podcast because you're like, well, what's going through this guy's head when he's out in the woods? Here it is. And he's thinking, maybe I want to blame the Prepping Badass.
But we already told you.
This is a no-go for legality. This is after
Law and Order entertainment purposes.
Entertainment. I like that.
Every one of our shows where I've killed somebody has been for entertainment only.
And no, it's actually been Kevin's entertainment, not yours. But, either way, it works out.
The real reason I want to do this show is because I like saying booby trap.
Booby. Oh, no. That just sounds like trouble. So, with that, stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
The Survival and Basic Badass Podcast is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.